What's going on, everybody? This is your boy Half Deezy. Welcome to another episode of Smile Mouth Podcast. I know it's been a while, but hey, we're back. That's all that matters. I'm here. I'm going to be delivering some hip hop news to you. A lot of shit has been going on within the last 8 months. So, I'm not surprised. I want to go ahead and just jump right into this. Now, the biggest thing that's been going on right now is these leaked phone calls between Young Thug and different people. And he's talking about a slew of people that I would assume are supposed to be able to trust him, or, a lot of this stuff I'm thinking he thought was said in confidence that nobody would find out. But dude, come on, man. They're jailhouse recorded calls or prison house recorded calls. Trust me, somebody gonna have audio somewhere, especially when it comes to a celebrity, right? I can't even imagine what kind of phone calls that could possibly get leaked if Diddy gets out, which, that's a whole nother can of worms. Anyways, let's jump right into this. This is from the Breakfast Club. They're talking about the different phone calls that have been leaked and the things that have been said. So if you've been kind of behind like myself, this should be able to catch you up. But we're going to be tracking this for the next few days or a couple weeks or however long it lasts, because it seems like something new is coming out about this every other day. So and then with some of the artists who are involved with this, especially 21 Savage, it'll be interesting to see if any of them come back with anything, if they haven't already. But let's go on ahead and jump into this. And yeah, this is pretty crazy, y'all.
Well, speaking of Atlanta, so over the weekend there has been some conversations. Atlanta and a lot of artists down there have been online debating and going back and forth, because you know how we've been up here talking about Gunna and the conversations around, can people support Gunna's music or not? So now the conversation and the light is shining Young Thug's way, because there is alleged audio that is leaked. These audios are supposed to be jail calls of Young Thug having conversations with various people, and he's discussing Gunna and some other things. But prior to this audio leaking, there was another alleged interrogation video that dropped, and this video was of Young Thug, allegedly Young Thug in a room having a conversation with police about Lil Wayne's.
Yeah, and I wanted to stop that because for anybody who's been a Young Thug fan for a while, or have just known about, or a Cash Money fan, Lil Wayne fan for that matter, this whole incident with Lil Wayne's tour bus getting shot up and Young Thug being involved, it wasn't even a secret back then. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of surprised it went the way that it did, but obviously now it's being brought back up because of everything that's went on with Young Thug. But during that time, though, a lot of Cash Money artists were having issues with Baby, to include Wayne, which, is partially the reason why the Carter didn't come out for so many years, for anyone who remembers that. But yeah,
His tour bus is being shot up, and the person who allegedly did that,
Why do you
right?
say allegedly, Young Thug?
Because I have not myself spoken to any jail that has told me that that video is actually what we think it is. And
Well,
the
isn't
same
it
thing.
Young Thug in the video?
Yeah, but listen, the way that the internet is set up today, I am going
doing
to
her due
until
diligence.
I
She's
myself
professional
speak to a
source.
jail.
Makes sense.
Exactly. Yes, the way that
But
the internet.
he's confirmed it.
He came out. Well, listen, what he came out and was talking about was a back and forth between him and Rollo. They were online arguing. Rollo's another music artist from Atlanta. They were online going back and forth because Rollo began to have conversations about that interrogation video that happened and or did not happen. Okay, that's what he was referring to. He says that when in the video that people are now seeing, he says that what he said online or in that conversation helped his friend. Now moving forward. So now we get to the Gunna part of it, because now these jail phone calls begin to leak. And in one of the phone calls, Young Thug is having a conversation about Gunna and the whole RICO and Gunna testifying. And we've never heard Young Thug speak directly on this. Let's take a listen to Young Thug talking about Gunna and the RICO.
okay, of course it's gonna go to a commercial.
This is ludicrous.
Ludicrous. All right.
He made, which they still got to prove the shit, though, which I don't think they're going to ever be able to prove because it's just not a game. He gave the jurors the agreement that it's a gang. He said YSL is a gang, and he know people in this on this trial who committed crimes in furtherance of the gang. You don't know nobody on this case.
Yeah.
That's a lie. That's a full-blown lie. I know individuals on this case that committed crimes in furtherance of the gang. That's RICO. So if a get found guilty on RICO, you really just you got a light to it. And you lost.
That's what I said.
You don't know nobody on the case. I ain't ever committed no crime. Duke ain't committed no crime. Yak ain't committed no crime. They're the only 3 people you know on this case. Ain't now one of them committed no crime. So who the f*** you talking about? You know YSL members on this case that committed crimes in furtherance of the game. You just made it a motherfucking RICO case. You just made it a case.
Yeah, so he's talking about when Gunna was in court and he was asked about, being in a car and things being found in the car and who they belong to and if YSL was actually a gang.
But he was responding, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am, that video, right?
Yes. Now, so in addition to that audio being released, there was also...
Okay, so that should break the whole illusion of Young Thug told him to do that. Because it's quite obvious here that he didn't. See, that's that internet shit where they just start making things up.
Another audio that was released of Gunna having of Young Thug having a conversation with 21 Savage about...
Now this is pretty grimy right here. I felt like you'll have to look online if for the longer conversation if there is one between him and 21 Savage, but I know that they're gonna highlight, as you can see, that's what I was looking for to kind of catch up quickly on this. But the conversation between them is wild.
What Gunna did and how that should be taken by people. Let's take a listen to that.
I don't feel like Shawty did what he did with the intention of hurting you. You feel what I'm saying? I don't really get that vibe from him. I feel like he just green. That's just my opinion.
I just look at it. God damn sure was thinking about that one day. Like, I ain't finna say nothing about this. Just, woo, woo, woo. I might just be like, man, them folks did what they had to do. But I'm like, the hell that's gonna change? Because I feel like it's really over with for your rap career. The album you put out might go #1, but that's it after that. You know what I'm saying? It's like on some real time.
Nah, if you hold his career in your hand, bro, that's what I'm telling you. If you come out right now and tell the world what he did went wrong, because them folks already on the internet like, man, God, that he rocking with them. Ever since he dropped that song, they like, man, we rocking with him. If you come out and tell the world that you was in agreement with that his career ain't over.
Man, dropping the clues bombs with 21 Savage. The first time I ever had a conversation with 21 was here on The Breakfast Club, and if you go back and watch that interview from 9 years ago, I told him after talking to him that he had his head on right. You can tell he was smarter than most, and after listening to numerous calls between him and Thug this weekend,
yes,
I still stand on that. Thug, you should have listened to 21. Okay, there is nobody I heard give you better advice in this whole situation than that young man.
I agree. And I want to say too, because he talked about because there's so many calls, but in some of the calls he talked about the music and what would happen with Gunna's career and how things would move forward. And this weekend, Gunna hosted his first meetup of the Run Club. They have a 5K happening actually tomorrow, September 3rd at Prospect Park. It's already sold out. He hosted this first meetup and he was giving a motivational speech just about where he is in life right now. And it made me think, all of this stuff is happening, and he has moved on and chose a whole different route. And
he did his last album on Thug's label, so he's a free agent.
Last one.
He's moved on. As far as him is concerned, his concerts are still sold out. He does not arenas, but he does concert halls. He sells them out. He doesn't care. He has moved on. It just seems strange that these grown-ass men, and it's not just 1, 2, 3, it's like 8 of them talking about snitching at this age. It's like we got to get to a point where we got to move on. We can't even think about the negativity. Like, these brothers are making money legally, a lot of it, and to go back and to do all that, it just sounds stupid. And everybody knows these calls are taped.
Yeah, the streets are so exhausting and corny. Like, we got to start clowning people that are in the street. I don't judge people for what they do in survival mode, but man, when you know better, you have to do better. And at this point, we have more than enough examples of why the streets are corny. So we should really start clowning people who make these poor life choices that either land you in jail, dead, or labeled a snitch. That's the only 3 options I ever see.
Well, Pete kind of said something to the effect of what you trying to say. Like, this all has been dead. Like, we need to move on.
I saw it. The first thing I saw what P was saying.
From QC.
Yes.
Yeah, he said we need to move on. Well, I do have Gunna's speech that he gave to the Run Club because I thought it was like, it was very timely for like, okay, let's just move on. Let's take a listen to Gunna.
Staying connected matters.
Another commercial, of course.
You remember when you told me how to
fish?
fish?
And you know, again, it's like 21 Savage at the same. It's like, from what I heard, it seemed like he was trying to get, you know, Young Thug to think of it in a different way, or to see like a more positive light with it, you know, when it comes to whatever business they were talking about. But, you know, here's the thing. When you get to like a certain area in your life, especially when you're making millions of dollars, you got a lot of people's career in your hands, all this other lives they're in your hands and stuff, you know, that street shit can only go so far. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're dealing with corporate now. And also on top of that, like, people are going to be protected too. You know, they're not stupid. Obviously, of course, Gunna wants to stay far away from that because he got a second chance. You know, he could have got hemmed up for whatever. He got a second chance. He took his career, snitch or no snitch. You know, again, like, that's something that he's got to deal with personally with those people. With the gangs, gang culture, whatever gang he said he was from. I don't know if he was, I heard he was like a Crip or something like that. But either way, you know, his people, when it comes to that gets dealt with accordingly. You know what I mean? And he probably already went through all that shit with them. And the internet can help sway decisions and stuff like that. But again, you know, the way when it comes to gang stuff, I can't look at a lot of these dudes as gang members because a lot of them are not. You know, they rep the gang because they know somebody or they got a family member or something like that, but they themselves are not really in it or affiliated. I mean, at least on the West Coast, if you're in it, that means you've been beat in. Unless you've been blessed in by a family member, like your family is so deeply embedded in that shit. You know what I'm saying? But anymore these days, you could just know somebody or be famous and buy that title, which I don't know why you would. But that's what they do. But in my eyes, they're not really a gangster. They're just someone who's claiming it because they're affiliated, but really they didn't get beat in. They ain't put in no real work. They haven't earned no real stripes. Like over here on this side, that's important when you're gonna be claiming that stuff, because somebody will come tap you on the shoulder about it for sure.
I feel like everyone in here, y'all taking that step to just like push yourself, and you, who knows how far you gonna go and where you gonna go. It ain't up to me, it's up to God. You drove yourself to this gym. We didn't make you come here. You pushed yourself to come. So pat yourself on the back. I thank y'all for coming here too, because it's like it's a beginning of something that's gonna be way bigger that I didn't ever see. But like just showing up, like y'all day one for this shit. Like y'all motivate me to just like, damn, somebody showing up not to just hear my music, like to just come work out with me though. To really feel that that we be going through and we want to get it out in the gym, because we be fighting everything easy. So once again, thank y'all for coming and pushing me to keep going too, because y'all my day ones, 100%.
And in the press release for the Run Club, it says Gunna has spent the last 2 years on a powerful physical and mental transformation. So, you know, good to see.
You can definitely tell.
Yeah, I know. He looks like it.
Music definitely looks happier, at peace.
Yes. And what's sad about this is Young Thug became a victim of an environment that he created.
Yeah.
Because if he hadn't been so hard on Gunna, people wouldn't be so hard on him right now.
Oh my God, yes.
And because of how he treated Gunna, he created these rules of engagement that now these street artists, and I put street artists in air quotes, are going to be forced to use on him. He should have listened to 21 Savage. Okay, 21 Savage gave Young Thug the best advice in this whole situation. If he would have moved like 21 told him to move, none of this would be happening.
Why did 21 tell him to move? Because
he told him that we just played the audio.
Oh, that part. Okay.
Yeah, when he told him like, listen, like he did what was best for him. Y'all all should do what was best for y'all, and let him like let's move on.
And he told him you hold your career in his hand. Like
yes.
Like it wasn't that deep.
Right, yeah. He was letting him know, like, bro, you can control bro's career. So if you can control his career, come out on top and look good in a good light about it, that's basically what he was telling him. He's like, yo, but if you come out and say you support that, like, people are going to be rocking with you over it because people are already rocking with Gunna. You know, so that would have been, for him, like, a plus. But at the same time, when it comes to the street shit and all that other kinds of stuff, you know what I mean? It's just wild to think about.
True.
Especially being the people around you did the same exact thing.
Like, and the person who took the charge, so both of y'all should have been like, well, I ain't got nothing to do with this.
It wasn't that deep. Y'all should have kept the music. That's why I don't understand why people conflate the two between the streets and the music. When you get the opportunity to do something legit and you get the opportunity to make money legit, focus on that. You cannot live two lives, people.
Well, what does Thug do now? Because to your point, I went and checked his Twitter. He on the 27th, he retweeted the Thugger Daily page, the fan page, that talked about the interrogation video. And the retweet he posted says, y'all are so gullible and hurt. Nothing that Thug said can be misconstrued for snitching. So he feels like he has to explain himself. What does he do from here?
Listen, I don't care who's snitching and who not snitching. To me, you know what Thug need? A record. Thug need a slap. Thug need one of them joints. He need one of them ones. Yeah, that's what Gunna did. Gunna came out and gave you a few of them ones.
Twice. He dropped twice.
Yeah.
The album that had Bread and Butter on it, and now the last one.
Yeah, but he gave you that slap with F you mean. That's what I'm saying. Like, you need a record. Like, you need a record. Nobody care about who you telling. Why do I care if somebody's snitching or not? I got a nice bidet at the house. Okay, I am gay for my bidet. Right. You think I give a damn about who's telling?
He's in prison.
Exactly. You don't give a damn about who telling. Who's not. Like, why would I care?
All right. Well, that is the latest with Lauren. Charlamagne, we're giving that donkey too.
Man, 4 after the hour. Boy, speaking of staying away from these young niggas, there's a man named Assis Campos Torres who's 19-year-old. He needs to come to the front of the congregation. We need to have a word.
All right. So, yeah, we don't need to know all that. But, yeah, I mean, you know, when it comes to this Young Thug situation, it's like, and the people who leaked this call, they're saying it's Gunna's team. So I'll have to do more research on it to really know. But from what I've heard, it's Gunna's team. They knew what they were doing. They already knew that Young Thug was going to be trash talking and trying to bash him and stuff. And, you know, to be honest, Young Thug really stayed quiet about everything for the most part. I feel like the phone calls that are coming out are kind of, you know, kick up the dust again and get it involved. Maybe Young Thug has an album that's going to be coming out because, you know, he really does need to come out with something. He's been out. Maybe he has dropped something. I don't really follow Young Thug like that, but just based off of what he's been going through with his case, I know I did a few videos of that back then, and now he's out. You know, I didn't even cover any of that. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments when it comes to this whole situation with Young Thug. And, you know, we'll be back with another episode. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Deuces.